Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. I want to first and foremost say thank you for all the support recently. Your likes, comments, subscribes, it means a huge amount. Obviously we start this journey in January the 1st, this Ironman journey, and I'm wanting to document everything along the way. Unfortunately I had a few injuries recently that's meant I had to pull out of Ironman Vietnam as well as UK. So I'm on the sidelines of it right now with my rehab and everything else, working through it. I had an operation on the left foot as well as my right tib anterior is in the pits right now. So a lot of you have been messaging in sort of wondering like, what have I invested in this triathlon journey? How much we've invested? It's an expensive sport for those who do know. It's brutal. So I wanted to do this video with you guys today and show you actually how much we've invested, which is a hell of a lot over the last 4 months. And actually, was it worth it? Was it a good investment? Has it been a game changer? Has it been a mediocre investment? For maybe some first-time triathletes like me who are coming into the support, maybe this is useful for you. I want to make this super clear. You do not need to invest this level. There's so many ways you can ultimately do this on a budget and everything else. I'm sure we can make videos on that in the future. I just want to document full transparency with you guys what I've done. Was it worth it? That's what we're going to get in today. We've got this little tier system in front of us right now. Guys, if you've got any questions for us, any more video ideas and things that you want to see, as well as the weekly vlogs that we're putting out, let us know in the comment section down below and we'll keep feeding you the content. So let's start off at the top here. You can see a whole lot of wetsuits and swim skins and everything else. I made some big mistakes here because, and this is the biggest thing I'll say with you in triathlon if you're starting, like make sure you buy right the first time. I was a little bit reckless in going out and buying things and then figuring out it wasn't right for me and having to buy another one, especially with wetsuits, and Rocker, especially as a brand, is pretty pricey to say the least. So for me, first and foremost, the Rocker wetsuits are incredible, and 100% a wetsuit is obviously part of the game. I would definitely say the sleeveless wetsuit for me is worth every penny, 100%. I find for myself, being a tall guy, 6'7", heavier guy as a triathlete, and especially with my arm recovery in the swim, that extra nylon in the arm is not really helping my arm recovery. So I found that very quickly in the swim skin, sleeve swim skin, as well as the sleeve wetsuit. Whilst it's going to give me speed and buoyancy, it wasn't right for me. As me being a taller guy, I definitely found that these two, worth every penny, 100%, with the right sizing. I would say the swim skin compared to the wetsuit is definitely, it's good, but it's not essential for first-time triathletes and everything else. The swim skin is just going to help with gliding, where the wetsuit is generally going to help you essentially with buoyancy. The swim skin won't do that. So this is definitely part of the game. This is a tricky one. The Magic 5 goggles. So this is an expensive goggle, put it that way. And I'm not knocking it. It's pretty cool technology in the sense that you send your photo in and it scans your face and then it ultimately creates your goggles to fit your face and everything else. I bought a couple of pairs, one clear, one shiny for both circumstances. But for me, they just haven't fit at all. And the nose ridge as well, it's very discomforting. I like my goggles really tight on my face. I just like that sort of feel. And that out of the goggles I've bought, and I've bought a lot of goggles, a lot of pairs, this is actually really pricey this way, and it didn't work really for me. I'm going to probably give it a little bit more time, but probably for now, I hate to do this, actually probably putting it into regret buying for now, because you kind of find out what works for you. This you maybe not actually see here. This down here is the Speedos. They're fast range and they're perfect for me, just with my head tilt, with the breathing. It just fits really well for me. I've done my first triathlon race in these as well. I had no issues with leaking at all. So for me, that's been worth every penny, 100%, the Speedo goggles. The final one I've got here, actually, whilst we're on it, is the Hoops. Now, these are really good clear goggles, and I've had no issue with them as well, with leaking and everything else. So I would also say a clear pair are quite essential in your training as well. So I've got to definitely put these either part of the game or worth every penny. I'd say they're pretty good goggles. I'm going to put them in here, part of the game for now, and actually having a good clear set, but Hoover solid for sure. Cycling bib shorts. Now, this is interesting. Definitely part of the game, have to put it here, but these are expensive for sure. If you're getting certain brands like MAP and Castilian and stuff like this, you'll find out that these really do rack up when you're buying, a good 4 or 5 pairs, different outfits of the cycling kit. I find really racked up for sure. Nutrition, proper nutrition, definitely part of the game. Obviously, for those who follow the vlogs and everything else, I'm very fortunate to have Joanne, who's my assistant. She's like my chef, works on site. She keeps me sort of organized, my nutrition dialed in, what I'm eating, when I'm eating, to recover straight after session so I can focus on the business calls and tasks that I've got across the other companies. So it's so important, your recovery, replenishing glycogen stores really quickly after training, as well as your interest stuff that we'll come on to just shortly. But nutrition obviously is part of the game. Joanne herself, she's not on here. She would be the game changer out there if we had it. The other nutrition side of things you've obviously got is actually when intra workout, when you're actually on the bike or intra run. So I brought that down to carb mixture drink, gel, and also electrolytes, and just Obviously, all of these are part of the game, 100%. I think if I was just being super honest with you guys, what works best for me, the carb mixture is the most easiest way for me to digest carbs, and I ultimately lean towards that on the bike more than anything else. The electrolytes are imperative, and they have to be part of the game, especially in Dubai where we are right now with the heat and everything else, the temperature. Even if I was competing in Vietnam, the amount of sodium I'm losing, the salt and sweat is so important to replenish. Next is you've got the Nix, call it Nix Solo, sort of sweatband that you sort of patch onto your arm here, and you sort of wear that when you're training, just sort of how much water you're losing, how much sodium you're losing, so you know actually how much to replenish and move forward. I think this is really cool, but it's definitely not essential, because you can definitely, I wouldn't say it's overrated. It's in between overrated and here. I think the reality is a great tool to use, but you can easily find those levels and everything else through just testing. On the subject of things to stick on me, I've got two other things here. I've got obviously the heart rate belt, and I've got the core sensor. They're two really cool things to go over here. Obviously, the heart rate for me is critical. It's one of the biggest performance tracking tools to just know where you are in your race, where you're on your training, what sort of zones you need to be falling into, zone 2 running, for instance, or even on the bike, and making sure that you don't overbike going into transition 2. So that's super, super key. Obviously, it's worth every penny. I think what's really, really key here is the core Therma 2, this little thing down here. Now, I got this in advance of Vietnam. Now, obviously, I'm not going to Vietnam anymore, which I'm super, super gutted about, which is this weekend. But I had that in preparation and ready so I could really understand my core temperature and then also my skin temperature. And from what I'm told in studies, that you want to sort of keep that range between core temperature and skin temperature around sort of 3 degrees difference. And this would be really, really important for me to have that tool to make sure that I'm not overheating, and I'm using to make sure I'm cool. Obviously, a Vietnam race versus like a UK race, it's a different game. It's a different environment. It's a different playground, right? Vietnam is like a survival contest. It's like a heat management. And that's why that tool would be really useful for hot races, hot circumstances, to make sure that you're not overbiking or going too core temperature into T2, which will ruin your bike. I think for the environment, it's critical, quite frankly. For hot races and everything else, it's worth every penny. That data and insight, 100%, it would fall into there. But if you're like, for instance, in the UK, and you know it's not as critical, I think it's good, but it's not essential 100%. So this really depends on your environment and where you spend the most time. Let's go into the shoes a little bit here. So you've got cycling shoes, then you've got carbon-plated running shoe, and then you've got like a sort of tempo, like easy running shoe. What I've kind of learned through all my injuries and everything else, shoe rotation is so key. For me, I've got all these injuries, unfortunately, because I've been overloaded too much, coming from no running to a lot of running. So that shoe rotation is super key. I would say this sort of easy running shoe is critical to have, just to sort of absorb the load and everything else. So that easy sort of soft shoes is going to be super key. For me, carbon plated shoe, I haven't really gone down the carbon plated shoe. I have the Asics Magic Speeds, which is like a plastic sort of plate. It's like the same feel of a carbon plated shoe, but it's not actually carbon. And that's where I had my massive injury that came from, is that ankle stability and overload, unfortunately. So For me, it's not 100% essential for me right now. Definitely for others who are a lot lighter than me and a lot more in the game, I think it's a game changer, quite frankly, for other people. If you have the ability to tolerate it and use it effectively without getting injured, I think it's a game changer. I've got here a cycling shoe, but I've also put this down as a sort of like triathlon shoe. So I've got two different. I've got Lakes, which are triathlon shoes, which are super easy to put on in transition, and I've just got your physique cycling shoes, and obviously they're just part of the game and just essential needed, really. As you can see, maybe in this bottom left hand corner, this is the big one. This is the Plasma Scott RC. This is the biggest investment that we made, and this is well over 150k dirham with all the parts that we've attached to it. You know, the full disc, the premium bearing, the ceramic speed, the extra sort of custom cockpit and everything else. All these different parts we'll talk about specifically, but the whole bike setup itself is a big investment. And definitely that plays such a difference in your speed and what we're able to do. Definitely having that bike enabled me and helped me pushing sort of 40 kilometers an hour average in my first Olympic bike leg for 40k. So I was able to come fourth overall purely because of this setup and how good it was. So I've got to put that 100%. It's a game changer. It's a big play. It's a big investment. You don't have to do that. There's so many good bikes on the market for a lot less than that. You do not need to play like that. I did that because I studied a few bigger triathletes like Marcus Ditlev. He's 6'5". He's on the Scott as well. He had great success. So I kind of look at people in my similar-ish situation, what they did, and I wanted to sort of follow through it and invest in it. But you don't have to do that. But that's a 100% big game changer for me. The Speeco. So obviously being a tall, long, big guy, the average cockpit position that you can see on the far left here, it didn't really fit me. I'm not very aero in that position. That's why we got this custom cockpit, measured it all up, 3D scan. It's expensive. It's 12.5 grand dirham, just that cockpit. Let's put it worth every penny for now. Okay, for sure. a lot of money, but definitely makes such a difference for sure. Whilst we're on the bike, let's go to the full disc. The full disc, this is obviously where you put on the back wheel. So obviously you have your normal wheels, which you've got here, this DT Swiss, which are really good, high quality wheels. Obviously, you don't have to get DT Swiss wheels, but they're quite expensive. And I personally believe they're best really in the game for what they are. So I'm happy to put that worth every penny. Obviously wheels in general, they're just going to be part of the game, but these specific ones, DT Swiss, 100%. I'm in the full disc. This, basically after 35 kilometers per hour average on the bike, this is where this comes into effect and starts to aid and benefit moving forward. Really, I shouldn't be cycling with this all year round, which is guilty of me, which I am. But this is a really, once again, it's an added weapon to use on race day that's going to make such a game-changing difference when used effectively. So I'm going to arguably say that that's a game changer. That's a game changer for me, 100%. Coming onto the Garmin Edge, worth every penny. So this is your bike computer. This is where, you basically got all your stats in front of you, just, your average speed, your watts, your 3-second watts, your core temp that can come onto here, your timer, your heart rate, everything's in front of you on this. It's your GPS, and, without it, obviously, it'd be impossible to ultimately understand how you're performing and how you're going. So it's worth every penny. Arguably, it's a game changer. It's huge. I'd have one of those if you're a triathlete starting out. Great tool to have, 100%. And that's same with the Garmin Forerunner. This arguably is a game changer as well. These two could be arguably put as a game changer because I just use them so much. Mine's here that you can see on here, and this is just everything in here: the run, bike, swim, everything, heart rate. All this data then is fed back to Training Peaks and Strava and everything else. And my coaches are able to interpret this data and then basically say, actually, we're going to pull back today or not. The data is fantastic. I've got definitely my return on investment on that. It's quite pricey, 100%, but there's definitely ROI on that for sure. Absolutely. These are the same thing. So this is sort of race day helmet. I haven't put the aero helmet in here. So I'm sort of getting an Oakley TT helmet, which is like an aero helmet for race day. That's quite pricey. I haven't got this on this list because I think we're going to do a part 2. So if you want to see a part 2 of everything else we've bought, there's a lot more. We can do a part 2. Let us know down below. And let us know where you're actually putting some of these as well. I'd be interested to see where you would place them. But this is just a sort of normal road bike sort of helmet that I went with the casque. Obviously, it's part of the game, isn't it? Next one I've got here, okay, is the Oakley Meta glasses. Okay, now when I was in a bit of a spree right at the start, I thought they were really cool. And essentially a content guide, another way of catching content and everything else. Have we got a huge amount of content from it? No. Whose fault was that? It's probably me, because I'm just really focusing on the sessions as opposed to having these Meta glasses on me all the time. For triathletes coming up, is it essential for you guys? No. If you're a content guy like me, yes. I would say good, but not essential. And obviously Oakley sunglasses. Now, if you know anything about Oakley sunglasses, they add up. I've got about 6 different pairs, but it's quite an addictive rush getting those. I don't think you guys can actually see this. Is actually the hydration pump part of the bike. A good tool, 100%. Mine came with the bike, so I'm definitely going to put that worth every penny. It's a great tool for those looking to store more hydration, more nutrition on the bike. So there you go. It's quite faint, but it's a bike bag. So I've obviously done a little bit of travel back to the UK recently. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to get my bike back safely without this bike bag. And this bike bag is very expensive, to say the least. A good sort of 6-7k dirham, so about 1.5k pounds. But, learning about that, it's very hard to understand how to deconstruct your bike in the right way without damaging everything else. But that was really useful for me, learning about that. And having this tool is, for me, doing traveling international competitions, it's definitely essential. You're going to need it. It's part of the game. What you can see here, like in this image, you've got the sort of front bottle water cages, you've got the back and everything else, and you can add these on to have more nutrition when you're doing a full distance Ironman, when you're doing 180k and you're on that bike for 5 to 6 hours or whatever, how long you're going to take. You need as much storage on there as well to stack nutrition. So it's worth every penny, 100% that. This is just a tri-suit, because Castelli tri-suit, you need it, it's part of the game. No, don't need to really explain that at all. It's Ironman tickets as well. I think these are Ironman tickets and obviously flight tickets, unfortunately, it's part of the game, but it really, really does stack up. Teams down here, you've got my physio, she's called Melissa. She sees an awful lot of me. She understands everything about me, what's going on. So she's been a great help, but she won't mind me saying it's a pricey investment, but it's one that is essential in learning more about your body. So I would say, look, it's definitely part of the game, having good sort of strength and conditioning, rehabilitation, preventative strength work is really, really key. I'm learning for the running side of things, especially as I'm changing my whole body dynamic to make myself a good triathlete. But it's been essential for me. It's been really part of the game. What you've got down here next is this sort of headband. I'll get it up here so you guys can see. It's like a sort of headband with these sort of Omni stones, right? And when you pour water over them, it's a cooling mechanism. I think it's cool. I think it's good tech. Is it the best thing to do? I don't think it is. I actually, before Vietnam, got this cooling hat, which has got panels all the way through the hat, so I could actually cool everything all over my head as opposed to just my forehead. So I'm going to say I think it's cool. It's definitely not essential. Maybe even overrated. I think there's more effective ways of cooling yourself as opposed to just that. Next one I got here is the Wahoo Kicker. So this is my indoor trainer. So it's a full bike indoor, just geared up, just like my triathlon bike. Once again, this is really pricey. Super pricey, but obviously it's now May time, June, July, August in Dubai, it's going to be roasting, it's going to be super hot. So if I want to sort of have a little bit more cooler session, get my interval work done, I can ultimately do it here in a good setup, which is really dialed in. I can have my cleats and everything else, my power meter, everything comes through, so I can ultimately, otherwise really I'd be finding myself getting up at like 6 a.m, 5 a.m. to go and ultimately ride, which is fine, it's not a problem. But if I want to have that option, I wouldn't say it's critical, I wouldn't say it's a good investment. I think definitely you can go about your business and still achieve without having to have this. Last two things I got is here, triathlon coaching and also masseuse work. So my masseuse is Michelle. She's fantastic. I see her a good 2 times a week. And she really helps me with all these injuries and niggles and everything else and just basically recovering me as much as possible. There's another one that I haven't put in here, which is recovery boots. And there's a load more stuff that we've bought, which is the recovery boots is super expensive as well. If you guys want to see a part 2, you know the drill. Just comment, like down below and we'll do another part. Michelle, for me, for how accessible she is, like when I just message her and say, hey, I need you around, she'd literally drop everything, come the same day. That's worth every penny, 100%, even arguably a game changer. And then look, I think triathlon coaching, as cliche as it is, it's a game changer for sure. Regardless, it's quite expensive as well, this type of coaching, but the accessibility you get, the insight you do get. I think we've had a few issues, unfortunately, with managing my load, managing my volume, especially with the injuries and everything else I've got. But I've got to also see the benefit and positives that I've actually got out from the exposure and coaching. So coaching is a process of learning more and more about individuals. Sometimes we're going to get things right, sometimes we're going to get things wrong. Obviously, being in the coaching industry myself and the businesses we have, I know all too well about that. So I have to be coachable. I have to be actually someone who understands this without moping and sulking about all these injuries and everything else. But for now, I'm going to put it there. So hopefully it gives you a little bit of insight. I've been quite lenient here. If I was being a little bit more critical, maybe I could have moved some brands a little bit further down. But hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight on what we spent a little bit on money on, whether it was worth it, whether it's actually useful for you to get as well. If you guys would like to see, once again, a little bit more of this, we'll keep throwing content your way. Thank you for your support. Hopefully this was a fun video for you to be part of as well. Let me know down in the comment section down below. We'll see you in the next video. Peace. Okay.